contestants we have is Les Cuthbert. Les Cuthbert does photorealism and draws things so it creates a feeling or an emotion that makes people stop and think. Les, welcome to the contest. Les, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. We're looking forward to hearing from you and about your artwork as well. Over to you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm Les Cuthbert. I'm a self-taught artist. I've been drawing from a young age, but over the years I've done mainly portraits of dogs and people. Over the years I've developed my own techniques regardless what tools I use, and also the control of the pencil to create the shading I need exactly. I decided I didn't want to keep just copying photos and doing drawing photos. I wanted to see things through my eyes and stop that moment. When I see it, capture it and stop it and then draw it. But also what I do is change things within that drawing. So it's not also just straight from a photo. Sometimes I create a background or other things. If I can just go on to my first drawing, which is Vanishing Point. Over there. Yeah, if we're there, Vanishing Point. I took the original photo in Verona, in Italy, in a train station. It was very intricate. I enjoyed the way everything went to a vanishing point. Well, I can remember looking around at the vanishing point and thinking, wow, that's amazing. And I just carried on, I just drew that. And the intricacy, it was frustration because there's so much detail. I had to keep chipping away at it. It was patience testing, but also strengthened my will to continue doing the drawing. I really enjoyed doing that, and of course forcing myself to carry on was a challenge in itself. If I can move on to Morning Mist. Yeah, that was, I just captured that from a moving video. I just saw this snippet of this moment and just stopped it and captured it, where I've changed also the background to make it look more misty. I've made the background more cloudy and moody. The swan, I wanted to get that right because I needed those two things, the background and the swan, to work together so it creates that gentleness, that intricacy and the beauty of the swan. Moving on to the ballerina. The ballerina itself, that was her, she was captured in a moment, and I changed the background completely because what I wanted to do was make it look like she'd come to the end of the stage and she stopped and then wanted to sort of go back the other way where she's pointing, sort of facing. But I just wanted to capture the beauty of her face, the arms, the delicacy of the arms, and the beauty from the dress as well. It really was a joy to draw that one. And what, like I say, I do draw to realism, but they're not directly from a photo. They are changed or how I see them. You wouldn't find these photos on the internet or anywhere, to be honest. That's it.
Lovely, brilliant. Thank you very much, Les. Thanks very much for that. Let's go over to Richard. Richard, what are your thoughts on Les's work?
Hi, Les. Thank you so much for sharing your work. You might have heard me earlier talking about that kind of balance between, you know, kind of if you are making a drawing or a painting and you're on that boundary of photorealism, you've got to know that why this isn't a photo. And I think you're exploring that, and it comes across that you're now going into that area and asking those questions. I suppose two questions for me. One is that when you are working in a photorealistic way, I don't want to be brought up short with this is looking photorealistic, but it's not quite right. So there are tiny things like the ballerina's arms, which aren't quite right. There's something about the head. They're too thin. They're not photorealistic, but they're done in a photorealistic style. So I think where the kind of way forward maybe is actually asking the question, how do I take my technique, and it's a really strong technique, but how do I take this and actually go into even more focus? So with the ballerina, you could get rid of the tutu, you could get rid of the legs, you could get rid of so much and say, what is it I'm looking at? And allow that, you know, to be focused on. The same with the swan, the same with the vanishing point. I think it's about asking the question and being brave enough to say, if I'm doing photorealism, it doesn't necessarily need to be the whole photo. It can be, what is it in the photo that I'm really drawn to? So you talk about the vanishing point, you're talking about her going off to the stage. It could just be those arms. And then when you're getting rid of everything, not, you know, if you're not having everything in, then you can have that extended arm, because you're actually making a point then about it going off to the edge of the stage. You're allowing it to in a sense, be expressive and genuinely so, when people aren't thinking, well, this is a photo, but it isn't a photo. And I think that's where I'd perhaps be taking the work further. But really great technique, really interesting way you're taking it, and I really enjoyed seeing the work.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you, Richard. Great technique, Les. So that's always nice to hear. Sujata, what are your thoughts on Les's work?
I fully agree with Richard, what he has said, because his technique is very good, and I see he's enjoying his technique. He has used his pencil, he's handled it very well. But I think what Richard has said, he should think about it, and maybe that will give him a next step or a helping hand to think how should go further, or how should think, or how should put his work, you know. He can maybe try a little bigger size of works where might be he get a better liberty to his expression or his technique. So, but I see he's enjoying what he's doing, and he knows what he's doing at this stage. I think that's very interesting. Yes, definitely.
Thank you.
I fully agree with Richard, what he has said. He's analyzed it very well.
Excellent. Thank you, Sujata. Geeta, what are your thoughts?
Hi, Les.
Hiya.
Hi. To start with, there are a lot of contradictory statements in all the three in the paintings that you talked about. Very interesting, though. Now, it's not a negative way of saying it, but what I'm trying to say is in the railway station one, where you're talking about a vanishing point, and you know, to an extent that it becomes abstract. Yet the painting has so many details, you know, and accurate details, you know,
yeah.
Which is fascinating. The technique to see that is, you know, is almost marveling at, you know, is this a photograph or a painting, you know? So in that sense, that was very interesting for me to note that you had, you know, titled it that. Yeah. And about the morning mist, I felt that whilst there is very less detail at the back of the, you know, the swan, which actually, yet that is the striking feature there, which sort of makes it look morning, you know? So things like that, I just thought nothing about the swan there, although there's so much detail on the swan and the reflection of the water and so on. Yeah. Yet the backdrop was quite interesting, that one. And about the ballerina, you talked about how you captured the moment of she wanting to go this way or that way.
Yeah.
For me, the focus was on her face and the expression on her face, and I can relate to it as a dancer, yes. You know, and she would be a heroine called Viraganayika, which means she's a lamenting heroine. And that's the expression that I get out of that face. And I don't know whether that was just you know, sort of instinctive way of giving her that expression, because you said you'd done that with a memory, right? So whether it was that, or you were more concerned about, you know, having wanting her to sort of, you know, hold that pose, or what, you know, so that was a little bit, I wasn't sure.
Okay. Yeah, I did. The face was like as it was, and I drew it because I just wanted to capture that face as it was. It was just that moment in time. And like I say, you won't find an individual photo of that. It was just captured. And as I saw it, because it was just a fraction of a second in time.
Right. Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. Wish you the very best.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good luck.
That's some lovely comments there, Les, particularly about your technique. Everyone seemed to love that. Any other Any other comments you would like to say to the judges? Anything else?
No, thank you for your comments. You know, it's constructive, and Richard's right. I'm going in the right direction, and I do want to create more pieces that, you know, I just want people to look at them. It becomes a talking point. It makes people think. It draws them in, and they're asking questions about what else is within that picture. And that's where I want to get. I really want people to think and call friends over and say, come and look at this. What do you see? And then other people see something different, and it's getting people together as well. And that's what I want from my art. I don't want people to just look at it and go, oh, that's a photo. I want people to be drawn in and get exactly what they, emotion, feeling, stuff like that.
Well, Les, I can certainly say you're drawing people in on the chat. You have a huge number of fans who all seem to adore your artwork. So well done on that score.
Thank you very much, judges. Thank you. And thank you for everybody